Hello, and welcome to the Independent Publishers of New England's broadcast entitled Ask the Experts. In this show, we interview leaders in the field of independent publishing here in New England on issues of concern to all of our members. Today we have with us Mellisa Sherlin, who is the co-founder of the Writers Business School, which she and a fellow writer established in 2013. And she's going to talk to us about the importance of making decisions, the difficulty of making decisions, and the importance. And she's going to bring us through some key steps on a PowerPoint presentation of things that all of us who are involved in the publishing industry should keep in mind as we're working on our books. Mellisa first published when she was in the second grade. Very active child. I would have loved to have had her in one of my classes. And she read a book and she wanted to write her own version of the book. I'll let her tell you about it later. So she actually, typed it up and tried to sneak it into the library bookshelves and was caught by the librarian in doing so, and told that she really couldn't. You don't put books in shelves like that. And that's not quite the process. But the librarian did, as I understand it, introduce her to a couple of magazines, and she ended up being published in the Yankee Peddler, a horse periodical which I used to be addicted to as a kid, at the age of 9. So Mellisa has been involved in the publishing industry for decades now. For 10 years, she's been a bestseller for the publisher that she's been working with. And so after a number of years of doing that, she and her friend decided that they would set up the Writers Business School. So welcome, Mellisa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you. It's great to be here and sharing all this information. I thought today we'd talk about business plans. A lot of people in the publishing industry, writers and publishers, they don't understand that a book is actually a product, and since it's one product, you can use a business plan to sell it, to help make choices. So what I'm going to do is walk you through how you can make a business plan, and it's really just a roadmap to your writing career. It doesn't have to be huge and daunting. It's actually quite simple. Okay. All right. Do you want to go to the first slide or second slide? And we'll,
Okay, first slide.
Go through.
Okay, I'll put that up on my screen, but let's see.
It's up.
Okay, great. All right, so here's our introduction. I'll show you how to make a business plan for writers to help give you a roadmap and make choices for your career. And we need that because if you go to the next slide, you'll see that 90% of books for sale right now sell fewer than 100 copies.
That is shocking. I mean, that's
painful. It's painful. The reason for that is most people are only selling to their friends and family and a few strangers. So planning will help you get past that obstacle of only showing it to people you know. Right? So what I'm going to cover is on the next slide. My lovely outline for you. I'll quickly tell you what a business plan is so that you can understand why you need one. And then I'll give you 5 questions you can ask yourself before you start making choices for your career. Because a plan isn't any good unless you actually follow it or try to follow it as closely as possible. I'll give you an outline, so when you start asking yourself these questions, you'll fall into even more descriptive questions. It's just naturally going to pop up. And once those other questions come, you'll need to actually sit down with a business plan. And there's different sections I'll tell you about. And I'll show you how they apply to writers and small businesses. And then at the end, I'll give you some suggestions of what you can do today to help start creating your own.
Wow, it looks great. Thanks.
All right, let's do the next slide. All right, so what is a business plan? It's actually a tool. It helps you get from point A to point B past all the confusion. So that's why I put a maze up there for you. Right? Why I like it is it helps identify strengths that you currently have and that you're using. And it also works with your current skills. Where you are. It helps you decide, I'm right here at point A. I want to get to point B. I have to find a route between them. And it really makes you sit down and look at, okay, where am I? Because if you're trying to get to a location, you have to know where you start. The old analogy of starting in, New York City, or wanting to get to New York City, it depends on where you start, which direction you head. If you're in California, you're going to head a different direction to New York City than, say, someone starting in London. So
Right.
a business plan helps you identify that. Cool. Also, because you have this plan, you know where you're going, it helps with uncertainty. You're like, wait a minute, is this really where I want to head? So it really just keeps those things in your mind. Once you
Okay.
have a plan in place, it helps you make partners. Any kind of team you want to make, you can say, hey, look, I have this plan in mind, and it will help you, woo those joint venture partners, either editors or people to do the book covers, or publishers or agents or whomever you want to work with, distributors. Right? People like to work with people who are organized and have a plan. They know where they're going, and business plan will get you there. Plans are also good because they give you specific goals, and once you have specific goals, you can evaluate how well you're doing. You're like, did I reach my goal? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, great, what can I do next? From where I am right now, where's my next point be? And if your answer is, oh no, I didn't quite get there, you can kind of reevaluate the direction you're heading and say, okay, well, I misturned here, let me go back and do this. So that's helpful. With all this redirecting, it increases profitability. All right, so let's do the next slide. Read down to the next slide. Oh, yes, we are. Great, okay. All right, so how to make a business plan. Yeah, believe it or not, you just ask yourself some questions and you write down the answers. It sounds really silly, but it's actually the process of sitting down to ask yourself some questions and then listening for your answers because you know them. You have a plan, you have a dream in mind. It's turning that dream into actionable steps you can take, right? And then once you have these choices written down, you have to refer back to them because your plan is completely useless if it just sits in the shelf and you're like, oh, I wrote that like 5 years ago, but I'm doing something completely different now. Okay? Also, you want to update this plan you have because as you reach your goals, your plans change. And that's okay. It's only a tool. It's kind of like, think of it as a rough draft, a permanent rough draft that you keep referring back to and checking.
Okay, Mellisa, I have one question, just to kind of bring it to life a little bit. What are some of the questions that you ask yourself as you write, when you're making your business plan on, let's say, a book you're working on now?
Well, the next slide has the questions.
Okay, great. All
so
right,
we go to the next slide.
Okay.
All right, so when you're writing your books, because a lot of you guys are writing and publishing, you want to write your book, you want to write the best book you have, okay? Your business plan works to sell all of your books, not just one book, because there's more in you than one book. So what you want to do is not think about my business plan as how to pitch this one book. You want to think of your business plan as, what do I want to share with the world? Like, why am I writing books? And who finds this information I want to share helpful? The question was, what do I think of when I write books? Actually, the Writers Business School, our goal is to teach writers business skills to improve their sales. As an author, I actually have my own business plan where I actually share healthy communication skills. And so everything I write has some kind of a take on healthy communication. I write romantic comedies and dark fiction. And when I promote my books, because I like talking about healthy communication, I have places I can speak at using healthy communication. Oh, and by the way, I also write books. It's a way to get your books in front of people who aren't just writers. You actually get in front of people who are interested in what you're interested in, sharing with a larger audience. And that's how I've been a bestseller, because I don't market to other writers. I market to people who read and enjoy the topic I do. So to get to your own topic, you want to think about, what do I want to share? We call this platform at the Writers Business School, but it's that one topic that infiltrates everything in your life. It might be the topic that you can talk about hours on end without getting tired of the topic. It's probably the topic your friends and family come to you for help on. That's what it is. Once you figure out the topic, you have to think about, okay, who finds this useful? Like, who likes it? For healthy communication, I actually work with 27 shelters in the Merrimack Valley, teaching women in transition healthy communication so they can build and sustain the life they actually want to live. There's a huge group of people that I help with that, and I know exactly who to target. I know exactly where my people are. So when you get clear like that, you can say, okay, these are the people that will find it helpful. Where are they right now? Right? It'll help you direct, I'm going to go to an event. Is my person there? Well, you can ask yourself. And then once you figure out where they are, you can think of it, how do you want to share the information? Because you want it to be about more than, I have this book I'm working on. Because you want to be able to market yourself and your ideals even when there isn't a book out. There's a long time between books for some people. Just like there's a long time between Apple releases, right? But people are still excited because there's still marketing going on. There's still a connection to the audience. All right. After you find them, you want to know how to share it with them. How can they best hear it? So, hey, they're over here at this this expo or this event. How can I participate in the event that my ideal reader or ideal customer will find useful? So you can kind of like, look, I have an opportunity to talk, so I'll kind of slant it towards my favorite topic, and people that really enjoy that topic will find it helpful, and then keep coming back. We'll have a relationship that I can build. And then you want to ask yourself, okay, well, I have all these great ideas. How long is it going to take? If you have a plan, well, gee, I want to find these people, and I want to attend one conference this year, and I want to talk at one conference. That's very specific goals. Once you have a specific goal in a time frame, because goals really aren't useful unless they have a time frame, you can start working towards it. Like, okay, that conference is in October. Gee, I better get working on that, right? So it really pushes you forward. Do you see how that works? Kind of helpful? All right. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Once you start asking yourself those 5 questions about who they are, what are they doing, you're going to naturally slide into more advanced questions. Okay? And as soon as those more advanced questions hit you, that's when you want to actually look at getting a real business plan going. Now this slide, there's, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? That's going to happen. If you're publishing for at least a year, you're like, why am I doing this? It has to be more than the book you're working on or the one you just did. There's a reason why, and you have to find that. Okay? You say, who do I want to buy my? Who's your ideal client or your ideal reader? Okay? All these questions will pop up. Don't get mad at yourself when they do, because all of these questions fit into a business plan, and the business plan is actually on the next slide. Whoops, I am clicked on the wrong spot. Do you guys see the next slide? All right. Oops. I don't hear anything or see anything, but
yes.
That's okay.
We do see the next slide. Do you see it?
Great. Not quite yet, but that's okay. All right, I have it on my computer, so we're good to go. Okay, so this is kind of a little picture I showed, and it has the 5 pieces of a business plan. And I want you to see that, like, there are sections. There's an executive summary, because every piece of, like, corporate correspondence has an executive summary to quickly go through it and read it. Then you have your marketing plan, and then something called a market analysis. Then you have your products and your financial projections. Okay. Now, don't be scared by these sections. When you're going up to try to team with a company or someone, they'll expect to see these sections. What they really are, your executive summary, is the bio that you've been honing for years and years and years. That's all the executive summary is. Okay? The marketing plan, it's just who your ideal reader is, who your ideal client is, and then, how do you reach them? So, gee, where are they hanging out? Oh, they're hanging out at this location, picking up information on this topic that I love to talk about. So they're naturally congregated over here. To reach them, I'll do things like a blog tour, or I'll have a contest, or I'll offer a class, or we'll do some kind of a challenge together. Okay, whatever fun thing you can think of to interact with these people. That's your marketing plan.
Okay. All right. Great.
Any kind of like street team or little club you're making. That's part of the marketing plan. It's just getting your ideal person to interact with you in some step-by-steps.
Okay.
The market analysis, a lot of people think this is the scariest part, but really it's who else is targeting your ideal reader or ideal client. Right? Because if someone else has already done this work to figure out where they're hanging out, what they're doing, you can team with them, and then you can both reach further. Right? That's your market analysis. When you're looking at books, who else is writing in this genre? It's not just for your competition. You want to see who else has done all this research about their ideal reader, so then you can kind of tag along and help out. Okay? If someone does target the same group you're targeting, you're automatically like a good team. So, and when you were thinking about making a team, you want to make sure that their target people, target audience, are the same as yours. Otherwise, there's a mismatch, and you'll be both tugging in opposite directions, which is not a very fun partnership. The products, I mean, we're publishers and we're writers, so you're like, oh, my books are my products. But you have more than one book in you. You're publishing more than one book. But also, your products are what else you can offer to your ideal person. So what topics do you like to talk about? How can you get your favorite subject out more into the world? Even if you're running a publishing house, there's a reason you're in publishing beyond, I want to make money. There's so many other ways to make money. Publishing is probably not the get-rich-quick scheme that you're hoping for. Okay, we do it because we love it. We love it for some reason. Either it's sharing information with the world, or whatever. It's whatever your why to keep doing this is. That's another product, and that love and that energy you can share with the world. It helps find your ideal reader. They connect with it authentically, and they become raving fans. They love your books and what you do in the world. Especially with millennials now, they really want to be involved with companies that are more than just products. And sharing that ideal you are passionate about is how to make that connection with anybody. And then the last part is financial projections. Don't let this worry anybody. This is really just how much do you think all this promotion and whatnot is going to cost? And how long will that money be available? If you do a blog tour, if you go to events, there are expenses. If you need a new computer or internet connection, I mean, these are all expenses that you have to plan for. If you don't plan for it, then you'll kind of cut yourself off at the knees and not reach far. If you realize you're getting a little low, you can kind of cut back and think of some ways to do it a little less expensively. So,
what an expression, cut yourself off at the knee.
Have you guys seen that commercial? It's a marketing commercial where they're launching a rocket, and it says, oh, the marketing team says to do this, so they change the color, and then they says to do this, so they change it. Oh, those colors aren't trending, so they change it. And then right before they launch, it cuts out because they have no budget left, and it's hilarious. Every time I see that, I laugh. But that's why you need the financial projections. You have to realize that it is going to take some money. There are ways to do it less expensively, but it's going to take some initial investment.
Right, and I think another point that a lot of people forget is that it also needs a certain amount of time.
Yes.
And it's easy to miscalculate the time and just think, oh, I'll be able to, take care of that in, 3 afternoons in a week. And so I found that that's one thing that I've been working on recently is how much time is this actually going to take?
Yes. Well, at the Writers Business School, we have a formula, a very minimal, like you should be working on your books this many hours and dedicate this many hours to your business. We say the 4 to 1. So for every 4 hours you spend working on your work, you should spend at least 1 hour working on the business side to get it out there. All the successful people we hear about are like, no, it should be, 80% marketing and 20% on your book. Yes, the more time you spend on the business, the better it's going to be. But you have to spend it on focused business. You just can't be like, pushing papers and filing them. You have to have a plan and follow your steps. And most people aren't there. I mean, they're still like, oh, let me sit down and work on this novel, and then, oh, that's all the time I have. So really look at the time you have during the week. For every 4 hours you spend writing, you spend 1 hour working on the business side. Just schedule it in. If you sit down for 5 sessions a week, then take one of those sessions, however long it is, and just work on the business side. Work on the plan, get whatever it is set up. Like you're thinking of doing a blog tour, you want to find some markets, you want to find some partners. Put that aside and schedule it in.
Right. Good. I mean, I think that is a really key point, is scheduling in time.
Yes.
To this. Okay, great, thanks.
Okay. All right, the next slide, I think, slide through this. This is just another one I wanted to show you all the pieces you have. Once you start asking yourself questions, you can throw it together. So the executive summary is your bio. Your marketing plan is where you want to describe who your readers are and how to find them. The market analysis, you just want to list 3 or 4 others. You don't have to list hundreds and hundreds. Okay? Your products or your books and other services, like topics you like to talk about, and financial projections are what's your budget for all of this. So we'll go to the next slide. And how long should it be? How long should it take? Your plan is just a guide. So like I said earlier, just think of this as a continual work in progress. You never have to finish this one, right? Don't we always love having that one that sits on the shelf? Right? Just always think of it as a guide. It's not written in stone. You can tweak it if you find like, oh, this is a really great idea. Fit it into your marketing plan. See how it fits into your schedule. But make sure it's still targeting your people that you want to target, and it's going to get you to where you want to go. Right? And the clearer you are on who your ideal reader is, the clearer you'll be on making those choices.
Yeah, that is definitely something to keep in mind as you're writing, is who's your audience, who are you writing to, and I think it's something that's easy to forget.
Yes.
Okay, we have another kind of 8 minutes.
Yes.
Just keeping an idea on time.
Yeah, it's right there. Go down to the next slide. Again, these are the basic questions to ask yourself. Oops, up one. Well, that's okay. Remember, when you're starting your business plan, just ask, what do you want to share? Like that other topic. And you're writing a book and you're marketing it. Write your book first. Your business is aside from your book. It's not just your book. There's a whole bunch of things that go on. And you need to be able to market your ideas when your book isn't ready yet, because you have to get the people ready to buy it. They're not going to be ready to buy it in like 5 minutes. Okay? You need to give them a little warm-up, like, hey, friends that I've been talking to for a while, I have something coming out. And then give them time to prepare and get excited. That's what all the marketing things are, the blog tours and going to events and whatnot. That's to prepare people, oh, yay, and get them excited. Okay? Yeah. All right, and then I guess we can go to the last slide. To help you guys out, we did how to add value to your readers so you can make that connection with them. Most people start with social media because that's really the cheapest way to get the word out there. But what you want to do is make an authentic connection with people who are interested in the same topic you are. So we actually have a 1-month social media planning worksheet for you. You can download at our website. It's rebrand.ly/WBTS. Thank you. Try to make it nice and short. But also what you want to do is you want to, once you've decided what you want to share, so you can decide who wants to see that, who's your ideal client, you want to set simple, reachable goals with deadlines. Okay? So you know where you are and how to get there. And then just be consistent. Set some time aside every day, if you can, but at least every week. Take one of your writing sessions or creative sessions and turn it into a business session. And start ticking off the things you have on your goals, just like any other job. Right? And then once you play with it for a while, you want to reevaluate, just to make sure you're still on track. Any questions?
Okay. Yes. One is from the administrators. Can we post that worksheet on our Facebook group? Would that be okay?
Yes, certainly.
And we will credit you for that, because that is a fantastic tool for everybody who's involved in independent publishing. And I had another question here. Sorry, I'm reading the comments on the side and looking at the questions that are coming in. You mentioned using social media as a really useful tool for a lot of people when they want to meet with people who are interested in the same thing that they are. Which social media platforms do you find the most effective?
Every social media platform has its own personality. So as you get used to them, you'll see which ones you gravitate to more. And that usually means that your ideal person is hanging out on them. Facebook and Twitter are two big ones. I know my business partner, Rona Goffstein, she loves Facebook. I am snarky. I don't know if you caught that, but I'm very snarky, so I love Twitter. Twitter loves my humor. But then if you're really artistic, Pinterest is great, Instagram. It just really depends on which you are drawn to and which you want to spend time on. Because if you're doing it as like, oh, I have to do it now, people will feel that, and you won't make the authentic connection you want to.
That's a really good point, and I hadn't thought of it before. That's really well articulated. Okay, then when you were talking about the executive summary, and you said that's kind of your bio, how would you relate that to your brand? And is it the same thing? Are they different things? What would you...
Your brand is a part of your business. Once you're clear on what you want to share, and you're clear on who you want to share it with, you can decide what emotion you want to have occur in them, because people buy based on emotion. So your brand is helping people feel the emotion when they see you.
Oh, that is a really interesting definition of brand. I hadn't thought of that before.
Brand is the emotional connection.
Okay.
So marketing is solving a problem. It's just here's the problem, here's to solve it. The brand is the emotional connection to what you're selling, what you're doing.
Oh, fantastic articulation of that idea. And I just wanted to mention that I really liked what you were talking about of getting your ideal reader to interact with you and having that be a goal. And I just thought that was a really good point that is very, very easy to forget when you're involved in writing your own book and trying to figure out how to sell it. I think that's kind of for me anyhow, that's a key issue is, you have a message and you're articulating it, and it's really important to kind of have a dialogue with people who are also interested in the message. So
yes, social media is for building that connection. It's not for selling. So once you have the connection and you're sharing a topic you love to share, which means you're going to do it more consistently, and you're going to, meet up with people that enjoy the same topic you do and are looking for information on that topic. You'll naturally get a connection with them, and then you can start. You can add them to your email lists. You can start saying, "Hey, I have this coming out. Do you want to do this fun thing with me?" And that's how you start growing your audience, is the connection first.
Okay, great. And a couple more questions. How often do you recommend that people post on Twitter or Facebook?
Okay. Again, consistently. So whatever you're able to do consistently. If you're consistently only able to do once a month, then once a month. But as you get it on the schedule, try to do it like once every 2 weeks, and then get it down to every week. The more they see you, the more interaction you're going to get. And once you've gotten to at least once a day, then you can start doing the whole, okay, well, for every, I think the thing is like 90% should be content they want to share, and 10% should be, hey, buy my stuff, or hey, I have this thing coming out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, and another question: what if you're really an introvert and being out in public is painful to you? Can you hire someone to be out there for you?
You can, but you don't have to get out there. If you're horribly, horribly introverted and you want to stay in your house, you can totally do that with all of this technology. And you'll actually find it easier to interact if you're sharing information on your favorite topic. Like if you just write a blog post about your favorite topic, it's not you anymore. There's none of your ego there. And the people that interact with it, they're interacting because they want that topic. It has nothing to do with you. It's your topic.
Oh, that's a nice division there between the topic and your ego. Okay, great, Mellisa. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention before we close? Just fantastic for us.
Just I hope that everybody out there found some use at it, and yes, definitely use our social media worksheet, copy it, share it with your friends to help you make a plan, because even the most simple business skills will help improve your book sales, and that they're a lot easier to learn than any of the writing skills. So,
okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'd like to thank Mellisa Sherlin of the Writers Business School for joining us today. Mellisa is best-selling author in the dark fiction and romantic comedy genres and others. Those are her two main genres. She does a lot of ghostwriting and has pen names for the different genres. And she's got some brilliant ideas on what different aspects of business an author and publisher should keep in mind as they try to get their book out into the world. Lots of competition in publishing these days. Technology has changed everything. So it's really easy to publish a book. It's not so easy to kind of sell it, and particularly to the people that would really be interested in reading it. So Melissa's really helped us with a lot of ideas on that. Once again, this is IPNY, the Independent Publishers of New England broadcast entitled Ask the Experts, in which we interview people who are leaders in various fields in independent publishing here in New England. So Mellisa will probably be joining us again. I certainly hope so. Thank you very much, Mellisa, for joining us. It's really been a pleasure, and I know it's going to be a big help to all of our listeners. So thanks, Mellisa.
Great, you're welcome.
Okay, my name is Karen Einstein, and I am signing off. And I would also like to thank our producer, Charlotte Pierce, the president of IPNY, who is fantastic at the technological side of these shows. And there she is smiling. And also at a lot of the organizational and the administrative part of it as well. So thank you, Charlotte, and thank you, Mellisa, and we'll see you again soon.